My name is Jonathan Neiman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sweetgreen.
My name is Nicholas Jamay, and I'm the co-founder and chief concept officer of Sweetgreen.
My name's Nathaniel Rue, co-founder as well of Sweetgreen and CMO.
I remember first hearing about you guys fairly early on, maybe just a few years after you opened your first location, and it was through music. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious. It's not obvious that an early stage food business would go into music in as big a way as it felt like you did early. What led to that? Music
was really just something the three of us personally really enjoyed, and we got a lot of inspiration out of. The first music connection to Sweetgreen was just the first playlist that we made for that opening day, and we still have, and we play it sometimes, which is brings back a lot of memories. But the thing with music was we wanted to find ways that we could be a restaurant company, but also figure out a way to be more than just a restaurant company. And when we opened our second restaurant in DC in DuPont Circle, it was going to be our flagship location, 3 times the size, 3 times the cost. And we opened our doors in April of 2009 and we have no customers. Nobody came. And that was another moment when we looked at each other and we said, shit, this isn't going to work.
What went wrong?
We were on the wrong side of the block.
Huh.
If you looked across the street, it was one of the number one Starbucks in the city across the street. And we just had to figure out a way to get people from that side of the street to our side of the street. So it was a little bit of a real estate judo that we had to play. And so the solution that we had was really, how could we do marketing to get people from that side of the street to our side? And the only things that we knew how to do were to serve healthy food and play music and DJ. And so that's what we did. We went to Guitar Center, bought a $400 speaker. We put it outside. We faced it towards DuPont Circle in the park. And the three of us sat out there, we played music, we passed out menus, we passed out samples every Saturday and Sunday for a few months. And it just created this kind of community vibe and energy outside that got people to come to our side of the street. And it was our first lesson in trial and really getting people to try our product, because once they tried what we were doing, they became much loyal customers. And so there was a light bulb moment that went off when we did that kind of street DJ session, that there was a connection between food and music. And so the next year we did a block party in the parking lot that we shared with the farmers market, which was really great. Free block party with local musicians. And then we really wanted to kind of throw a mini festival where you could serve healthy food and hear great music. And we got linked up to the guys that produce 930 Club, and they have a bunch of venues in DC. And they sent us, a few ideas. And I remember getting an email from them saying that, okay, if you could have anybody headline your salad festival, and that was the first time we heard the word festival, what would it be? Huh. And who would it be? And we had all these names at the time of Daft Punk and The Strokes and Jay-Z and Arcade Fire. And I remember 2 weeks later, they came back to us and said, the Strokes are interested in playing your salad festival. And we had this decision to make at the time where we were a restaurant company at the time, probably with, I think, 8 or so locations. And we had to push our chips in and say, we're going to do this big 15,000 person festival. But in order for us to do this, we have to sell it out. Otherwise, we're going to lose a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. You're now in 2 of the hardest businesses in the world,
yes,
by the way.
Now we're in big music production and healthy food. And we looked at each other. I remember that moment. And we looked at each other and we said, it's almost like a no-brainer decision, because this is something that no other restaurant company would do. And this is something that us as founders were really passionate about. And we almost think about it as at the time, a content platform for us and a community building platform for us. And so we did it. We booked the Strokes in 2011, sold the whole thing out. And that's what became the Sweetlife Festival, which we ran for 6 or 7 years in DC. So it's a long-winded way of saying music has been a core part of our DNA for a while. And even as we get to a bigger scale, always trying to figure out how to incorporate some of that into it.
Well, I'm also struck by the multiple already push all the chips in the middle of the table
Yeah.
moments here, right? I mean, this isn't I'm gonna place a bunch of small bets and string this out and try to get there and survive, which a lot of entrepreneurs, do, understandably, right? The first rule is don't run out of cash. Like make sure we stay in business. It feels like there was an element of like, if we're doing this, let's really do it.
Yeah.
Let's go,
Yeah.
right? Let's not do the 930 Club, which by iconic
love-
venue,
by the way, we love the
incredible
930
venue,
Club.
where no shade to 930
Yeah.
Club, but 15,000 people for your first music festival, that's no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of risk in it. And I think to John's earlier point, if we knew then what we knew now, it probably wouldn't have been a decision we made. I mean, I'll never forget the cover of the Washington City paper. The next day the headline was something like, "What the hell are 3 salad kids doing hiring the Strokes?" And it was a full-page article. And we're like, yeah, that's exactly why. And I think the DuPont Circle opening and failure at first, which led to the music connection, for us, the other unlock was realizing this power of building community around our brand. And what we were trying to create was fairly new. This category of healthy food was very new at the time, and some people didn't think it was a full category. And we looked at the power of community that existed in music, and we wanted to build that same sense of community, even from those mini block parties of Nate DJing outside DuPont Circle and us serving food. It became a weekend thing. It started with 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, ended with 25,000 people in a field at Merriweather Post Pavilion. But it was really the beginning of Sweetgreen starting to build this sense of community, and that we were building something different that wasn't just another fast food brand.